I think financial crime is one of the major threats that's impacting banks at the moment. And these sorts of crimes can underpin things like terrorist financing, anti-money laundering, organised crime and human trafficking. So it's of great public importance. I think financial crime has become a board issue. It is significant for the banks. There is expectations from regulators, there's expectations in fact from the public that the banks are not complicit in these types of financial crimes and the crimes they underpin, like terrorist financing and organised crime. As such, we've seen many of the banks respond with significant investments to try and both prevent and detect financial crime. What's clear about the financial crime problem is that you need lots of different types of solutions brought together to solve it. You need to solve the data problem. You need to decide what analytics you're going to use and how you're going to interpret them. And then you need to decide how you're going to make decisions based on those analytics. Accenture are working with many of the large banks working in the financial crime space, and we bring a number of different things together. We bring the data and analytics skills, we bring the big technology skills, we bring the consulting skills, and we also bring the regulatory skills so that we can make sure that our solutions are fit for purpose. In particular, we also bring the delivery skills so that we can actually deliver an implemented solution for our customers. Well, I think there are a number of things that the banks need to overcome to move down this path. The first is there is a continuing story about getting the data right for analytics. The second, I think, is that we need to look at the security around that data. There are a number of security regulations and privacy concerns that need to be dealt with. But perhaps one of the more significant ones is the need to work with the regulators and to work with other institutions to build up an acceptance about how these types of models and machine learning tools will be used in practice and regulated. Most of the techniques that the banks are using are very rules-based, so they identify things that have happened before. That's important, of course, and regulatory compliance around that is important. But I think going forward, we need to try and get ahead of the way that criminals are acting. In particular, we need to understand more about our customers. We need to be able to develop information around our customers, to develop the context and understanding of our customers, and then to use that to understand how we should respond and understand their financial crime risk. There are a number of different types of technologies that are really changing the way that we work. The first is around cloud and the ability to have massive compute power to handle these vast volumes of data that we will need to carry out customer-led analytics. The second is that we're starting increasingly to use machine learning, artificial intelligence, to really understand some of the patterns that we see in the data. We're using network analysis, for example, to build up big pictures of how customers are responding, their behaviours, and how the bank should then respond to that data. I think Accenture has quite an interesting set of capabilities in this space. We were one of the first to build up a big analytics practice. We have a very strong risk and compliance business. And by combining these businesses and combining our new focus on innovating in the new, with a huge emphasis on machine learning, artificial intelligence, natural language processing and cloud, I think we really have something different to offer the banks.